Welcome to Reads and Threads. My name's Kate. Hello if you're new here. Welcome back if you're joining us again. Today is 4 months pretty much exactly since the beginning of HRCYED, the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, put together by Qwordy. I will link her channel down below. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, definitely check it out. So it is HRCYED, the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. It's a year-long challenge that started on the 7th of July and runs through to the 6th of July 2026. And there is a range of challenges on a bingo board, this one just here, that she has put out for all of us to try and accomplish. There is also secret prompts every month that you can use and earn extra points or abilities. So sometimes you can maybe take away a challenge, replace a challenge, all kinds of stuff like that. I haven't been doing the secret prompts myself. I've just been going with my base board, but I had made, I think, decent progress by the end of August. So we'll quickly run through the challenges that I'd started and how many books I'd read. Then we'll jump onto my computer and have a look at where I'm up to as of the end of November. And I think that then that's just a good, easy line to be able to cut through. So I have obviously read a little bit more. We're into December now, but I just thought a good stopping point was November. I'm pretty happy with the progress that I have made. Again, if you have any suggestions for any of the book areas that I don't have anything allocated to, I'll mention if I need help trying to find anything. Some of you left suggestions in my previous videos, which are all linked down below for this challenge, so feel free to go and have a look at those if you want suggestions for your reading as well. But I did get some really good suggestions in a couple of my other videos that have helped me with a couple of the challenges as well. I know Qwordy's just put out a kind of rec video to help people who were struggling for books in a few areas. So go check that out. I will link that down below too. But let's get into it. Let's have a look at how I was tracking at the end of August, and then we will jump in to the end of November. This is how we were looking at the end of August. I'll pop up a screenshot of my graphics, which I did get from Sarah from Freshly Read Reads, and then I have adapted it slightly to my own color palette, but she shared her graphics that she put together, which I was very grateful for because it meant that I didn't have to do a huge amount of work. So definitely utilizing those, so thank you very much. And from the beginning, we have the first square in the top left was by the hundreds. I had started that one and read 2 out of the 7. For the 24-hour readathon, I didn't know how many I was going to read or when I was going to do it, so I hadn't started that. Subgenres of choice, I had read 1. Series Staircase, I hadn't started. Award season, I'd read 1. TBR challenge, I hadn't played or decided what game I was going to use, so that one was an unknown. The last 10 years, I had started and I had completed 2. All the adaptations, I had read 3. Or watched 3 depending on what they were. Disability Rep, I haven't started. Heritage Month, again, I hadn't started. Translation Challenge, not started. Around the World, I had done 2. Even Bigger Rainbow, I hadn't started. Make a Quote, which was my quote that I designed, I had read 1. For Spooky Creatures, I had read 1. Become the Avatar, I hadn't started. Complete Any Readathon, I had read 1 book for it when we looked at it then. Animals Are Better, I had read 1. The Queer Alphabet, I had read 1. Protagonist Name That I Know, which was a prompt from the first HRCYED that I selected to do, I'd read 1. The BIPOC Challenge, I hadn't started. The Extended New Release Challenge, I had read 2. Challenge Yourself, I hadn't started, so that's my own personal challenge. The Non-Fiction Challenge, I hadn't started. And Q's Recs and Reviews, again, I hadn't started. So you see, we hadn't read a huge amount of books. Let's jump into what we've actually achieved since then, because I have made a dent, and spoiler, I have managed to finish a few of the squares. Okay, so I should be up in the little corner in the top, and we should be looking currently at my spreadsheet. We're gonna start at where we left off. When I ended in August, I was in the middle of finishing Silvercloak and work our way down from there. Hopefully I can remember all the books that I did finish. You can see I have allocated out a fair few, and a little spoiler, I have done my readathon. Let's just work our way through. I have been using the points calculator. I have now gained 247 points, which I haven't used any of them yet. I think these are going to be more easy to utilize later on in the challenge. For my stats, so far in total, up to the end of November, I have read a total of 44 books. I'm really happy with that. My best reading month was September, and you can see I have a range of areas on the map, which I'm really happy with. It's really fun watching this all come together. I'd love to know how they put this together. It just is so interesting. We have a publisher breakdown over on the side here. And then if we scroll down, you can see a list of all of the authors that I've read. Some definitely more than others. And if we go down, no, maybe I missed something. I did miss something. It jumped extensively. So we have the genres, the means that I read it, the series way that I'm up to, whether they're new or reread. I have not done any rereads for this challenge so far. I'm hoping to keep it that way. Publication year, I have a fair few different ones. Mostly I have been reading adult books with a few YA chucked in. The cover ranges, I haven't really been popping this in overly much into the challenge spreadsheet because a lot of the time it hasn't been overly relevant. So if I wanted to, I could see that I read a lot of blue, but other than the rainbow challenge, the color of the cover really doesn't matter. You can also see a quick glance of what ones I have read for prompts, but let's just jump through and have a look. This is the by the hundreds. I have added significantly more than I had. I'm just going to grab my little cheat sheet that I have here. So the first one I had read 2 by the end of August. I have now got 6 of the 7. I just need a 700-page book now, and I do have a few options but hopefully that one will come off fairly easy and I'll be able to tick that you did it. Some of these I enjoyed more than others, but that's the way it goes. The first one that I have completed is the 24-hour readathon. I read a book and a half, or maybe 2 books really. And I did this over September while I was off work and had a bit of time. Didn't get through a huge amount, but I am really happy with what I did manage to read. In total, I only read 248 pages, which is a lot for me, I think. For subgenres of choice, I am 1 away from finishing this one off now. So for cozy fantasy, I read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. 2 Twisted Crowns for the gothic. In fantasy, I read Between Jobs by W.R. Gingell. I think the romantasy I had done before, which was Feathers So Black. And then the epic high fantasy, I have used Wrath by John Gwynne. For the dystopian, I am thinking I will probably pop in Silver Elite by Danny Francis, is my goal at the moment, but I could also use An Ember in the Ashes as my dystopian. So super close to getting that one finished, hoping that won't be too long in the coming. The series Staircase, I have made a bit of a dent now. So I have started my 4 or more series and I've decided to go with Dungeon Crawler Carl. Really enjoyed the first one and looking forward to the next in the series, hearing such good things about them all. For my trilogy, I did pick the Of Blood and Bone series by John Gwynne because we're reading it for Catch Up Book Club with Becca and the Books. I have read A Time of Dread and A Time of Blood, although The Time of Blood was a struggle, and now I am considering whether I want to read A Time of Courage at all. If I don't, I would obviously need to come up with a new trilogy and I'd be starting that one again from scratch. But yeah, I don't know. I really didn't enjoy it. I don't know that I want to know how it ends or need to know. we'll see how we go. I've got till January to decide one way or the other if I'm going to read it with the book club or skip the book or DNF it or just wait and hold on. But at the moment, that's my conundrum. For award season, I am using the Goodreads Choice Awards with an entrant from SBFBO. So I have already picked the entrant that I am going to use, and it is, have I written it in here is the question. Breaking of Realms by Jasmine Young. I am really looking forward to getting to this one. She is an indie author that I've heard a little bit about on BookTube. It's got dragons in it. I think it's going to be great. Also, I have popped in a fair few that now the Goodreads Choice Awards have obviously just happened. So I feel like this is going to be a lot easier to complete now. There was a lot in that awards that I was interested in reading already had on my radar. I have completed 4 of the 7. I have my entrant organized. I just need to figure out a semi-finalist and then one more book, and that will be done, which will be great. My TBR game challenge. I did play and film and pop out a video of me playing The Lord of the Reads 2 by Sylvia from Library Unbounded. I had a lot of fun, and then one of the comments said that I'd played the Dead Masters square wrong, and going back and watching previous videos, they were correct. So I have filmed now me rectifying that situation, which has added another book into my TBR, which is fine. And then the idea is I will actually film me reading this series, so that is up and coming. I have some of the books picked out now already, just from my covers or because they were chosen specifically in the game. That is my plan for this one, so hopefully that will happen fairly early in the new year. For the last 10 years, I have made a little bit more progress. I had read 2 books out of the 11 on this one, and I have now added in 2026 because I think I'm just going to do that one as well. So for 2016, I popped in Wrath. For 2018, I've used The Slightly Alarming Tale of the Whispering Roars by Jacqueline Moriarty. I've used A Time of Blood for 2019. 2020, there's Network Effect by Martha Wells. 2022, I've used Crowbones by Anne Bishop. 2023, I used another Murderbot Diaries book, System Collapse. And then for 2025, I popped in The Night and the Moth. I have also got a fair few that I know slot into the years that I don't have any in. I don't know that it's going to be overly hard to find these. These hopefully should be a fairly easy to complete book challenge, and then I'll just pop in a 2026 as we head into 2026. For all the adaptations, I have completed a little bit more, mainly in the watching rather than the reading. I have decided that I'm going to do both versions for all of them, and these are the ones that I've actually completed. So I went and saw Cats with my mum, the musical, and then I did read Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats by T.S. Eliot, which is what that musical is based on. I watched the Lizzie Bennet Diaries web series. I did that really early on in the challenge, so that was definitely one that was completed to begin with. I still plan on reading Pride and Prejudice to go with that. The Wild Robot, I've watched the animation. Now I just need to read the book. And for the movie, I watched the live action version of How to Train Your Dragon, and I have read the book How to Train Your Dragon, which was nothing like the movie. So I actually preferred the movie adaptations to the books. For the others, I plan with the modern retelling to read Alexander McCall Smith's version of Emma and then Jane Austen's Emma. For the graphic novel companion, I am going to be reading the graphic novel version of Beautiful Creatures and then the book version of Beautiful Creatures. For play, I am going to watch a play of Peter Pan and then read Peter Pan. Hopefully that works out. I'm pretty sure it should be fine. TV show, I have decided now to go with The Expanse and read James S.A. Corey's Leviathan Wakes. I've heard really good things about that. It is a chunky book, but I do own it now. So hopefully that one I can get done fairly soon. I've already read that, so let's delete that one from out of there. Like I said, I still need to read Pride and Prejudice and The Wild Robot, but I have both of those here, so that should hopefully not take too long. For the disability challenge, I still have not started it. I do have a few options down below, but please feel free to leave any good ones that you know in the comments. That would be awesome. So this is what I'm thinking at the moment. I need 5 different ones. Some of these I already have on my shelves, so they should be super easy and ready to go. Heritage Month, I added in Slightly Alarming Tale of the Whispering Moors by Jacqueline Moriarty as a female author for women's history, but other than that, I haven't done any of them. I have gone through all the books on my want to read list and come up with some options for some of them. Some of them I just need to take from other challenges within HRCYED, so that was fairly easy. The Indigenous Heritage one, I haven't come up with any ideas yet. I probably will go with an Australian Indigenous book. So if you have any suggestions, again, comments please. For the translation challenge, I haven't read any. Shocking. Again, I have a few that I have allocated out, but I still will need at least 2 more. Hopefully I can get through these ones. So I'm going to read a Frederick Bergman. I'm not entirely fussed which one. I have read one of his previously and really enjoyed it. That was a man called Uva. I really liked that one. I thought it was great. And then I'm going to add in probably Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and I do want to try my version of Crossroads of Ravens by Andrzej Sapkowski, which is Polish. We then have the Around the World Challenge. I've done 2 of these now. So for North America, I put in Havenfall by Sarah Holland. And for Australia, I've used The Extremely Inconvenient Adventures of Bronte Meadowstone. Sorry, I spaced on what that little graphic said then. I do, again, have some options. I'm in the middle of reading A Heart for Christmas, so I think that I will put that in Europe. That one's set in France. So I think that that will work well. And then I have other options. The only one I'm struggling with, I prefer to read fantasy. So a fantasy set in Antarctica, please, anyone? It is a bonus challenge, but I would like to try and finish it, get one if I can. We then have The Even Bigger Rainbow, which I have now made a dent in, and I have read 3. I have done 5 Broken Blades for red, 1 Dark Window for green, and Sunrise on the Reaping for purple. And I was just looking at the cover of one of the books I'm reading at the moment, and I think I might actually use it for light blue over part of Your World, but we'll see. And that's Snowed In by Catherine Walsh. I'll pop the graphic up if I can, and you'll see what I mean. These are still the ones that I am planning to use for the colours that I have, and I have decided on a 7 colour now. I don't know that I had this up last time. And that's The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. I'm really looking forward to getting to that one. For my maker quote, my quote is from Anne Bishop's Black Jewels series, and that is, Mother Night and May the Darkness be merciful. So I have completed 3 out of this quote now, and I have pretty much got a book allocated for every word except for Mother. There is 1 book on my TBR that, again, it's the 3rd in a series that I'm eager to get to, so it is still a possibility. And that is the Daughter of No Worlds trilogy. The last book has Mother in it. But if you know of any other fantasy books that have Mother in the title that you think I would like, please leave those in the comments. That would be great. For spooky creatures, I've added in a few more. So I just need now a vampire, a merfolk, and a zombie one. I used crow bones for the shifter. They are crow shifters. Wondersmith for a magic user with Silverborn by Jessica Townsend. Feyfolk, I used Feather So Black by Lara Celine. Ghost and Death were in Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I thought that worked really well for spirit. And then I used a salamander for other creatures from Faith with No Shadow. And then I do have a fair few options for vampire, zombie, merfolk, here that I came across. So one of these hopefully will step into those. Or Become the Avatar. I did originally have a series allocated out for this and tried the first book in September and it did not go well. So my plan now is to hopefully do one for each section. So one that has water on the cover, earth on the cover, fire and air, and then do the ones in the titles as well. So far I've only done one of the 8 and that was 2 Twisted Crowns for earth. I think that's a lot of earth on that cover, so it worked really well. And I don't think the others will be overly hard. It's just actually prioritizing them to give them a go. For the readathon challenge, I have completed this square. I participated in the Readathon Rebellion put on by Mel from Mel Lenore Reads, and I had a lot of fun over September reading these. I read 12 books over September and slightly into October, and I did manage to finish, and those are all listed here. I used Faith with No Shadow, Sanditon by Jane Austen, Diebound by Sable Sorensen, Serpent and the Wings of the Night by Carissa Broadbent, Six Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent, One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig I used for 2 prompts, which was handy. Sunrise and the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, Time of Dread by John Gwynne, Silverborn by Jessica Townsend, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, The Gunslinger by Stephen King, and then Fable by Adrienne Young. And I enjoyed some of them, most of them. Definitely not all of them, unfortunately. Okay. Slight technical difficulties, but all fixed now, and you probably won't even hopefully notice a huge jump. We'll see. Okay, so we've got Animal Friends next, and for this one we have 2 that I've done for this now. I have used Dungeon Crawler Carl for the house pets for Princess Donut. She is awesome. I can't wait to see what she gets up to in the next lot of books. And for farm animals, I have used a horse for Angus, who was Merida's horse in that one. I have a fair few options for exotic pets and wild animals. It's just zoo animals that I am a little unsure of what book to read. So if you have any suggestions for fantasy books or YA books maybe, I could do some romance that have a zoo animal in it. Please leave them down below. The queer alphabet, I have made a little bit of progress in this one. So I have used For Lesbian, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. For bisexual, pansexual, I have used Silver Cloak by L.K. Stevens. And for polyamory, I have used Warrior Princess Assassin by Bridget Kemmerer. I still need books for most of the others, and I don't think I have written any potentials in for these as well. I do have some potentials on my story graph when I was looking through what other people have put down for these options. So gay, not worried about. Some of these others though, like the gender fluid, two-spirit, I'm a little more unsure about, but we'll get there hopefully and see how we go. Favorite Herk prompt one, I have finished. So I used Havenful by Sarah Holland for Maddie, like my niece. In Beautiful Death by Fiona McIntosh, we had a Kate, me, and Jack. I know someone called Jack. And then I used The Bull of Versailles by Danielle Steele. There was an Amelia in that one, and I know an Amelia. So that prompt is done and ticked, which was super exciting. For BIPOC challenge, I have popped in 1 book so far. I read Thorn Season by Kira Azar, and she is half Lebanese and half Indian. So that worked out well. And then I do have a few options for some more. However, if you know or have any recommendations of really good stories that I should be adding, please let me know. My new release challenge is coming along nicely. I have now read 5. I am in the middle of my November new release at the moment and have my October one and the date that I need to read it by. So my plans so far is to read Never Ever After by Sue Lynn Tan, and I have till the 27th of December to finish that one by for my October book. Turns of Fate, like I said, is the one I'm currently reading by Anne Bishop, but I have till the 10th of, and it helps if you spell January right. I have to the 10th of January. I did have another few that were possibilities, but I think these are the two that I'm definitely going with Turns of Fate, and then I think I'm definitely going to read Never Ever After. I have 3, possibly 4 options for my December new release, so I have all these on hold at work, and we'll see which one comes in and when it works out. So I have until end of January for a couple of them because they came out right at the beginning of December, and then the end of February for one because it's coming out right at the end of December. So those are options. I have not looked into January, February, March or April yet, but I am pretty happy that I managed to do my May one so early on, and I now don't have to worry about that one at the end of the year or the June one. So that I'm really happy with my progress on that one. For May, I've used The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. June, I used Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V. Schwab. For July, I popped in Silver Cloak by Stevens. I used Warrior Princess Assassin by Bridget Cameron for August, and then Thorn Season by Kira Azar for September. And I enjoyed 4 of the 5 a lot. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil was fairly mid for me, but I am eager to continue on in all of these other 4 series, so that is exciting. For Challenge Yourself, I am challenging myself to read all of the Jane Austen stories, and I have read Sanditon, and that is it so far. A lot of the others are allocated out in other challenges as well, and I do definitely plan on getting to these, so that will have to become a bit more of a priority next year. For my non-fiction challenge, I have done 2 now. So I've used Bookish by Lucy Mangan, and that was in, I'm a librarian, so I've put in the jury areas, but that's like general works, information and computer sciences. And I've also done Old Possum's book, A Practical Cats. I've used it as a non-fiction, which is what it was. It was a poetry book. And I do have a couple of others allocated out. I'm eager to try Diddly Squat by Jeremy Clarkson. And then either of these biographies, so probably Dinner for Vampires or The Voice Within by John Farnham. And then I think I am going to stick with Don't Lose Your Head by Harriet Marsden, which is a story on King Henry VIII's wives. So I thought that would be interesting. They're my other 3 that are going in the top. So I'm pretty happy that I have figured out what they are, because this challenge was not one for me. For Q's Recs and Reviews, it looks like I've completed it because I've already popped all the graphics in, but I haven't. These are ones I knew I wanted to read after watching all of her videos, so I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget them. Of these, I have read 1, so I have read 5 Broken Blades by Mia Corland. And that is the end of our challenge spreadsheet. I am really happy with the progress I've made. I have updated my graphic, so we are currently looking like this. And you can see that I have fully completed 3 challenges, which was so much fun. And when it pops up on the bingo board at the beginning of the spreadsheet and it turns the square green, it was a lot of fun. But I'm also really enjoying going into my Canva graphics and like changing the numbers all the time, and then being able to color it in like my tealy blue color was so much fun. As you can see, I am super close to finishing a fair few. So I only have 1 book left in By the Hundreds, 1 in Subgenres of Choice. So they're both really close to being finished, and it's not going to take me super long to finish those off, I don't think. A couple of them are highly anticipated reads for me, so I am really eager to get to them. The last 10 years, like I'm happy with how I'm progressing with that one. That one's halfway through at least now, Spooky Creatures, I've only got a couple left. There are others that, like I said, I haven't started yet, so they definitely need to become priorities, as well as my individual challenge, so the Jane Austen books. I think they're going to take me a little bit longer to get through, so I would really like to get to those. And I really want to do my TBR challenge video, so that's going to be a fairly high priority at the beginning of 2026 as well. Overall, I'm really happy, like I said, with the progress that I have made. If you have any suggestions or recommendations for any of the books that I haven't managed to get to or don't have any potentials listed, please let me know. I would love all the recommendations that you have. Hopefully your challenge is going well. How many squares have you completed? I think I'm on track. I think we're pretty good. We're 4 months in. We're not even halfway yet. Having 3 fully completed and then a couple more that are nearly there, I'm pretty happy with my progress. And I think I can do this. I really do. I have faith in myself. Hopefully yours is going well. What has been your favorite challenge so far? I'd love to know. I am really intrigued by the A to Z challenges that a lot of people are doing, but I think I might have to add that in just as a challenge for myself maybe for next year. I'm in the process of coming up with some challenges for myself and goals and that kind of thing at the moment, ready for looking and starting the new year. Hopefully your reading is going well in the wrap up of this year as well. And I would love to know all of your favorites, anything like that, what I should prioritize, what area you think I should finish off first. That would be good. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do think about doing that. Giving this video a like would be great. Commenting, that would be awesome. I've also linked down below my Goodreads, my Storygraph, and my Instagram if you'd like to follow me over on any of those. And I hope that your challenges and your day is going great and that you are just really having a wonderful day. And we'll see you next time. Bye.